Do you love or hate Robert Pattinson? Well, I got the movie for you. Because if you love him, you get 17 of them. And if you hate him, you get to see him die over and over and over again. Mickey 17. This is a new film by Bong Joon-ho, guy that brought you Parasite, Snowpiercer, and other great films. He's back with another one. It seems that Bong Joon-ho has a theme going on in most of his movies, which is like class consciousness, with Snowpiercer and Parasite both dealing with those. Now, I know Bong Joon-ho has said in interviews that this movie has not that Trump didn't inspire this bad guy here or character. I'm gonna have to disagree with him. I usually like to take people's word at face value, but at eye value, meaning what my eyes saw, this was a huge dig at MAGA in Trump and his supporters. Mark Ruffalo at one point in the background of a scene does the little he does a little Trumpy dance. When I see that quote that it wasn't inspired and it had nothing to do with Trump, I just look at it and I have to just call bullshit. Walking into this movie, this was probably one of my most anticipated films of this year. So walking into this movie, I had very high expectations. I expected to come in here and praise and love it, and even though I do like it, I can't really say that I love it. It's about a 2 hours and 17 minute movie, but it feels much longer than I believe it should. I think the first hour, the first half of this movie is dealing with Mickey and him dying over and over again, and him having to do all this stuff. It is pretty fun and it's pretty engaging. The pacing becomes a little weird. It don't feel like you're actually moving while you're watching a movie. It started to feel like I was binge watching a mini series, and this movie just has a lot of different shit going on with a lot of different characters that sometimes I don't feel like you get much to work with. Like they don't really expand on much. Like Stephen Yoon's character and him go to go to the ship together, but after that they rarely interact. After that, he falls in love with Nasha, played by Naomi Aki. He ends up, and then it becomes somewhat a their movie. But then Mickey ends up, uh, ends up double paired with himself, him Mickey 17 and Mickey 18, and then they end up pairing. And I like when they show up and their characters interact and you see the difference in personalities between them. I like what they were doing with these two characters. I think it was meant to show a progression of, you're being a worker and you're having to kind of be in this labor force where you show up to work every day. And like I said, this is about class consciousness and you're just trying to survive and make it. Mickey 18 is supposed to represent that point of where you kind of just are sick of it. Like you go to work every day, you're poor, you're broke, I think, and you're just kind of smiling and going along with the work and the job because it pays and it gives you money. And I think Mickey 18 is that point where you're just like at a point where you realize this shit is bullshit. The system is bullshit. It's manipulative. It's exploitative. It's kind of messed up. It's wrong. And you just at a point where you're just like, fuck everybody. Let's burn it down. And I think that's what Mickey 18 is supposed to represent. Since being that Mickey's personality is usually uh, very kind-hearted and a little bit naive, but is overly nice. Like Mickey probably wouldn't harm a fly. Literally, the old saying, he wouldn't harm a fly. Mickey really wouldn't harm a fly. Mickey 18 is supposed to represent that pushing point of like, I'm done taking this shit. I'm taking what I need to do, and I'm taking what is mine from this world and others. When he meets Mickey 18, and they kind of start to talk, you're like, damn, he has a different personality than Mickey 17. Then you slowly start to realize they tell you in the movie that I guess all of these different variants of him, I guess do technically have different personalities of one another. I guess Mickey 18 is just a very radicalized, psychopathic version of him. That like I said, just won't take no shit. He's confident. He's daring. He's everything Mickey 17 isn't. And I really like how Robert Pattinson plays these two characters. He sort of, even though it's one guy, he does enough in his acting to make these two feel so different and unique. Naomi Aki here as Nasha is also really good here, but she doesn't get as much screen time as you would think. She's just pretty much badass warrior princess, but his girlfriend who loves him. She don't really have much to her character, other than being someone who Mickey is in love with and who he have sex and they have sex together. Mark Ruffalo and Toni Collette here are just outrageously just cartoonish ass villains in a very funny way though. Mark Ruffalo here is hilarious. He's definitely hamming it up and playing it up a little bit harder than you would think. But he is having fun here and he is entertaining. Toni Collette is also just really entertaining. She's all about getting to these sauces. She's the sauce boss. She love herself some good sauces. Don't fuck around with Toni Collette and her sauces in this movie. She'll kill you for that shit. Steven Yeun barely in the movie. When he does shows up, he's really good. But you get to see his assholish, manipulative nature using Mickey in all of these situations because and using Mickey's naivete against him to get him in terrible situations and you just but he's just not here as much so you don't really get all that connected to him as well. The movie towards the second half become a little bit more like actiony, a little bit more hero-y, a little bit more Starship Trooperish. I would say this movie has a big Starship Trooper sort of inspiration. At least while I was watching, that's all I can think of. I was still entertained by just the craziness that was happening in it. Like it's not one of those movies that is lacking anything interesting happening on screen. I was just not as interested in things as I was in the first half because the second half becomes a little bit more just standing and talking and people yelling and doing goofy and hamming it up performances, especially for Mark Ruffalo and Toni Collette. It's not as moving as it is in the first half, where you're learning new things as the movie goes on. At some point, you learn new things, and then you go back, and you kind of you're in the in between, learning new things and staying in the things that you already know. But I still liked it. I think Robert Pattinson puts on a great performance here. Definitely the best performance of 2025 that I've seen so far. I mean, we're only 3 months in. There's definitely more performances to come, but yeah, this is definitely the best performance that I've seen so far. I like the direction. I like the craziness in the imagination of the story. Um, and it's based on a book. Haven't read the book though. Should I read the book? Maybe. Probably. We'll see. I'm rating Mickey 17. 8.5 out of 10. Thank you for watching. Uh, if you disagree, yeah, well, subscribe. I say a lot of different opinions. Eventually, our opinions is gonna link up somehow. I don't know how, but it will. I know it will. I'm gonna make it. And if you agree, leave a like and things like that. And if you're new here and you agree with everything I said and you liked everything that's going on here, like and subscribe because hey, you like it here. Why not stay? And as always, good and bye.